Let's talk about slurs. If you've ever played a wind instrument, you understand if you tongue a note, it makes it detached from the previous note. And that's called staccato, where you actually put some space between the notes. When we pick notes, they tend to be a bit staccato because your pick's stopping the string from vibrating for a few milliseconds. Slurs will be anything you don't pick. That's how we're going to categorize them. We have 3 slurs that we're dealing with here: hammer-ons, pull-offs, and legato slides. This is how you get a little smoother, more lyrical sound you're playing. Let's go back to our original little lick where we use an upper neighbor coming down to the A. Well, if you play it with a pull-off, there you go, B.B. King. You would move that through all 5 notes in the scale. So I've just shown you how to practice doing that lick. You just move it all the way through. And then if you want to use a legato slide, you pick and you slide down. Does that make sense? That's a little slinkier kind of sound. And then the ascending slur we're going to deal with will be the hammer-on. Let's say A is our target note. We'll put over here on the 10th fret of the 2nd string. I'm using the lower neighbor. See how I'm looking at things, because that's the principal note. That's what the listener hears, and that's the note that I'm really targeting. So I'm going to approach it from below. There's the hammer-on. I move that down through the scale. And you just move it. So every time you have one lick, it generates 4 more because you're dealing with a 5-note scale. You get a total of 5 each time. Practice those ascending and descending legato slides. Now right away, your playing is going to take on a new sound. You're not going to sound like what I call typewriter playing. I'm sorry, that doesn't sound like very good music to me. But, you know, if you want to emulate the human voice, you're going to do more lyrical kind of thing. Now look what I've done. A is the principal tone. You can't go wrong with that note. It's the root. Make sure you know the numbers. So I'm going to start off with an upper neighbor with a pull-off and a vibrato. Then I'm going to approach that same A, but in a different fashion with a legato slide. And then you can vary the speed of the vibrato. Now if you take that idea and move it through the scale, you're going to have... You see what I'm doing? Now you need to see all of the pentatonics. So as I said earlier, you're going to have all 5 pentatonics included in this lesson. I'm not going to go through them. Lesson 2.2 gives all of the major scale and pentatonic scales in my system. So if you'd like to pick that up from TrueFire, there's the commercial you're going to get for today. But it's important to see them and categorize them because then you can connect a little bit better. All right, so now you see how we've covered slurs. Make sure you include those. Now, it's great to practice picking everything. It's very athletic, and there are a lot of great players out there that have machine gun right hands, and that's important. But don't just use one approach. If you're playing trumpet or sax, you're not going to practice tonguing every note. That's limiting yourself musically. Remember, you want to look at articulations, which means how the notes are connected. All right, in the next segment, we're going to talk about target notes with embellishment.